Hi friends, Camie here with Wickless and Scentsational. So I wanted to talk to you guys today about time. I guess it's fitting that I have a clock in the background. So the reason why I want to talk about time is that's a question that I get is how much time do you put into your Scentsy business? Or how much time would I need to be a Scentsy consultant? And it's a completely reasonable question because time is a very precious commodity. And so we want to be using it wisely and to make sure that we have the time that we need to fit in the things that we want to do with our days. Everyone has 24 hours in a day. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter how much you make. Like, it is the same everywhere. However, I think our perception of time is extremely different. You know, we all have different things that are pulling us. We all have different priorities. We have different goals. So that part of it gets a little bit tricky as far as giving someone an exact answer of it's going to be this much time in order for you to be successful, right? Because they might be coming to the table with a different approach or a different stage of life than where I'm at. But we're gonna talk about it anyway so that I can kind of give you at least an idea, okay? So I feel like time can be kind of broken down into 3 different categories. So the first category is kind of like our prioritized time. Like, this is a priority. We have to be at work at a certain time. We need to have the kids to school at a certain time. We have to get something specifically done by a deadline. So automatically those things are kind of at the top of our priority list. Like, we don't want to be shifting those things around. They're not as flexible, and we tend to really focus on trying to get those things done or to be somewhere at that time. I think the second category of time is kind of like our daily grind, just our busy daily grind. So maybe that's, you know, when I'm home and I'm doing laundry and I'm doing dishes and I'm talking on the phone and I'm getting fruit snacks for my kids, and it's like I'm busy doing all of these different things. You know, maybe I kind of have a list of things in general that I want to get done that day, running errands, but I can kind of shift those things around a little bit. So that's kind of like that busy daily grind time. Then the other time is kind of our unfocused time. Sometimes that might be kind of like winding down time. That might be the time that you're on your phone scrolling through social media. So it's kind of that unspecified, and we don't always have a lot of downtime. We don't always have a lot of that time to kind of set aside for ourselves, but that could include, you know, watching Netflix, and sometimes we combine it. Like, sometimes you might sit down and watch a movie while you're folding laundry, right? So you might be listening to a podcast while you're doing something else. Like, we can combine some of those things. So overall, I just kind of feel though that everything kind of does somehow fit into those 3 categories. So we have our high priority items, the things that we have to get done. We have kind of our middle of the road. Maybe it's a little bit more flexible. We have some things that we'd like to get done that day. And then we have kind of our downtime or unfocused time. So that to me is kind of how that works. So how then do you work a business into that? Because I know for me, you might say, well, it would go in the downtime, it would go in that unfocused time, but I kind of need that time too. I'm an introvert, I'm a busy working mom, so for me, having some downtime is really important for me to recharge. Right? So that's why I'm saying we're all going to come to the table with kind of a different set of needs and wants and goals. So that being said, the reason why I think home-based sales is so appealing to work from home is because of the flexibility, right? It's because we want to be able to fit it into our family, into our lifestyle. We want to be able to have it be something flexible. We don't want to have to show up at a certain time and put in a certain amount of hours in a day. And, you know, it's so nice to be able to be your own boss, right? Like, you check in with yourself. You are the one who, at the end of the day, you answer to you. But the flip side of being your own boss and having that flexibility is super awesome. You're also your own employee. So for example, if you hired an employee to come in and take care of some tasks at work or tasks at home, and you were, you know, expecting them to do the things that they told you that they would accomplish, you would expect them to do that, right? Like, you would hope that they would show up, that they would do the work. Maybe it would be, even if it was kind of in a flexible way, like, I'll come at some point during the day and get this done. you would still hopefully have them show up and do it for you, which is the reason why you ask them to do it in the first place. So you're kind of your own employee too. So you are the one who needs to somehow show up and do the things that you had promised yourself or told yourself you wanted to do. And I think it is so easy for us to break promises to ourselves because we have other things that come up, and so we easily can put, like, for me at least, I find like I'll put my things on the back burner because my kids need something or my husband needs something or a friend needs something. So I'm going to shift everything around to help that person or to get something done that suddenly is thrown at me. And so that might mean that even though I was going to work out that day, I didn't end up going to work out because something else happened, or I was planning on doing something for my business, but something else happens. And that is going to be part of life, and that's going to be part of figuring out your business. But at what point do you also say, well, I did make a promise to myself that I was going to work out. So even if I can't do it at this time that I had planned, I'm still going to fit it in somehow. And so that's where maybe you fit it in during some of that downtime, or maybe you fit it in that daily grind busy time where you can find some a little bit of extra space for you to get that done. And I feel like that for me is how I do Scentsy, but I also like to have somewhat of a schedule, because I think that when I don't have any schedule at all and I'm not thinking about what I'm gonna do the next day, like I feel like I have so much to get done that nothing really gets done. I don't know if you feel that way too, but it seems like that happens. So there's a couple of different ways you can kind of approach this. You can do something that is called, it's called the power hour. Sometimes I don't do a power hour. Sometimes it's like a power 15 minutes. Like right now, I'm done with my work day. I know I have a little bit of time before I need to go pick up my kids. So this is my time that I have specified to do my Scentsy before I go home. I can make videos, I can check in with customers, I can do social media, like whatever it is that I need to do, I know that this is kind of a block of time. I also can do that in the mornings. And throughout the day, if I have a little extra time, like I've put in a load of laundry, or my child's taking a nap or something, I can check in with my Scentsy business. I can write thank you letters or follow up. I can check on the news of what's coming. I can check in with my group. I can do a training. I can do samples. I can make samples. You also have to prioritize, however, in your business. I just thought about this when I said samples. You have to also prioritize the things in your business that you find most important, because it's really fun, but it's easy to start doing lots of little things for your business that may not be the highest priority. So for example, if it's the difference between making a bunch of samples or doing follow-up, do your follow-up first before you do your samples. If your samples are gonna be included in your follow-up somehow, like you're gonna send it in the mail, that's great. But if you don't have the time to do both, you're gonna focus on follow-up. So you also have to kind of prioritize the things within your business that are the most essential and most important, so that you're not doing all the little things around it without really taking care of the bigger needs. So, okay, so we've talked about how to fit it into a day with maybe some of those focused increments. If you are a list person, you can make a list of the top things that you feel like would need to be done that day within, you know, of course, within the aspects of maybe being a mom or maybe working or whatever, but also with your business. Like, I really would like to get this done, and then try to specify a time in your schedule, because then if it's already specified, if it doesn't work out, you're more likely to find another time to fit that into, rather than just having it be vague and just being, oh, well, it just didn't happen today. So I do think it's good to kind of have a tentative time set aside, so that at least you are putting a label on that, like, yes, that is what I am planning to do. If it doesn't happen, I'm gonna try to shift it somewhere else. So it's kind of like making a little commitment to yourself. Overall, I just feel like when it comes to time, I think that running it like, yes, it is flexible. I love that I can run my business from my phone. I was at practice last night at my son's practice, and I was on the phone doing Scentsy stuff. And it was like, this is awesome. I have a virtual office. I can go anywhere and work on my business. And that, again, goes back to the flexibility. But I was like, I'm gonna be at my son's practice, so I'm gonna do this. I could have just sat and scrolled through Facebook and listened to music or listened to a podcast, and those are all good things. And maybe that's what you need at that point. But if you specify, no, I'm gonna do this with my business, then you get it done. Sometimes it's even good for me to put my phone in another room, and then that way I'm not as tempted to pick it up and look at it. Because I don't know about you, but getting lost scrolling on social media, like what you think is gonna take 2 minutes, you can suddenly be on there for 30 minutes and you're like, what has happened? What have I done? Because that time goes so quickly. Now, another aspect of Scentsy that you could also fit into your business if you wanted to are events and home parties. I don't do a lot of events and home parties, but I do like to do some of them because I think that it is really good for me to connect and reach out to people who are in my community. I also have a lot of stock, so taking them to events is helpful for me because it helps me to rotate my stock. You can also do online Facebook parties, and I think those are great because you can just be in your pajamas on your bed and doing a party with someone. So those are other aspects of Scentsy that you could also incorporate into your business if you wanted to, but you don't have to, and you have to just decide what is, like I said, the most important aspects of this business to you. I also think being willing to kind of make those commitments to yourself that yes, like it's okay for me to say this is a business. Like while it's so flexible and I love that, and I love that I can fit it into my life and I can work from home and I can be a mom and do all of the things, I still really want to make sure I'm also showing up for it too, because I want to be a great boss and I want to be a great employee for myself. So that's just kind of a mindset thing, but I think it helps, at least it helps me to be able to really, take it to that next level so that I'm not just getting so busy in the hustle and bustle that it just never happens. Showing up consistently is huge. It really is, because this is the thing. If I only talk about my business once a month, for example, like if I only posted on my Facebook page, I have a business page and I have a group and everything, but even just like talking about it or what have you, if I only brought it up once a month, there's a good chance that when so-and-so needs, is having a family party and they're like, oh, I really would love to have my home smelling good. Oh, wasn't Camie doing something with that? I don't know, but she doesn't talk about it very much. I don't really want to bother about it. It doesn't seem like she's really into it anymore. So I'll just, head over to Walmart and get something there. Whereas if I'm posting or if being consistent or if I'm reminding people, when they come to my house and it smells so good, like, oh yeah, I love this just came out. And I'm not talking about being a crazy salesy, spammy person. That is not what I do. I do not spam my personal page. I do not do cold messaging. I'm not all about that. I'm about real relationships. But it's still something where you have to continue to be consistent and show up so that when, again, so-and-so needs some scents for her family party, she's like, I know Camie's doing it. I know she has some scents. Oh yeah, she just posted about the new collection that just came out, so she's gonna give me a call or she's gonna go to my website to order. Being consistent is huge in that respect because you wanna make sure that you are showing up so that people remember that that's what you do and that you're a service, you are there. I feel like for me, at least, Scentsy is something that is so fun for me and I use it so much in my life. So it's like, I want to make it easy for others to have it be part of their life too. And I don't look at it as, oh, I'm pushing these products. I feel like it's like, how can this help you? How can this bless you? How can this benefit you? And how can I bring it to you and make it easy for you to be able to access it? So when you think of it that way, that's something where if you are thinking of wanting to serve others and to be there for them and to help them, it's going to maybe make it a little bit more appealing for you and make it more important or priority for you to show up in that way as well. So I hope this has been helpful. You're gonna find consultants who do this full time, that this is what they do a lot. You're gonna find consultants that do this very, very part-time. You're gonna find consultants that do this more as I want to support my addiction, I wanna support my habit, so I'm more just doing it for my own orders. I'm not really doing it to have a business. I am doing it part-time. I'll just tell you that. So I work outside of the home. My kids are all involved in different activities and sports and they're busy. So I work my business part-time. However, I will say it is very, very possible if you are consistent and if you are showing up for yourself in the time that you say you will. Like I said, sometimes things shift around. That's why we like the flexibility, but you have to still at some point kind of show up and follow through with those commitments. Because I do that, I feel like I'm quite successful and able to meet my goals even though I'm working it part-time. It just really depends on what your personal goals are. Now, if you have questions about specifically more about what I do, or wanting help in how you can maybe work this into your life, like that's what I'm here for. And that's the beauty of this company and of Home-Based Cells, is that it is for you. It is to work with where you're at. It is to help you to reach your own personal goals, and you have support around you to be able to do that. You have the materials and resources and trainings that are provided, that are given to you to be able to help you to be able to succeed. So if I can be of any help to you in that way, I'd be more than happy to. I hope you're all doing well. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this was helpful, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.